Happy Saturday, gang. Welcome back for another Saturday morning comics. I missed last week because I was out uh, hunting books and hanging with friends. So I'm happy to be back here saying happy Saturday to you all. I got a bunch of books I want to go through and share. It's kind of a celebratory day today. Happy Avengers Day to you all because I finished collecting what was originally my goal for this year, and it's done. So I'm happy to share that. I'm up on all my new comic book day books, so I can dive into some of the hot new comics of the week. And of course, I'm up on X-Men 97 if we want to get into that a little bit as well. So yeah, happy Saturday. Just as a note at the top of the show here, it's possible next Saturday I'll be off because I'm doing an early edition. I'm going to be hanging out with Cliff from Cliff on Comics on his new Saturday morning show. It sounds like Brian, my buddy on Saturdays, who I usually follow. I tailgate with Brian on Saturdays. He's moving his Saturday show to Sunday. That means that I'm really the only Saturday morning show again. But it sounds like my buddy Cliff wants to start doing an East Coast early coffee and comics show on his channel, and he invited me on to be the first guest. So I'm super excited for that. And depending on how long we talk, and he and I tend to have the gift of gab, we may ramble a bunch next Saturday and overlap with this show. So just something exciting to be looking forward to. If you're looking forward to your morning comic book talk, Cliff on Comics will be the spot to go a little earlier next Saturday, and then we may bleed over onto this show. So just something to look forward to. A lot of good Saturday comic book chats going into the future. And then if you're missing Brian's Breakfast with Brian, just plan that for Saturday morning before you dive into the Bleecker Street morning show. So just some fun comic book community live stream updates, those of you that enjoy that kind of thing like I do. What is going on? Let's say hello to the chat. We got our man. Salute to X11 Bravo. Good to see you, sir, my friend. I hope your Saturday's going well. I hope the fur babies are doing well. We got my man Kevin from Entropy and Comics. Good morning, Kevin. I hope your Saturday's going well. Maybe you're reading some books. I know you work most Saturdays. We got Gore Vidal. What is going on, Gore? How are you doing? I came home last night, Gore, and my wife was watching an Ethan Hawke, Nick Hornby film, and I know you know how much I love the writer Nick Hornby, the British writer, and we both like Ethan Hawke, you and I. And the movie was called Juliet Naked. It's centered in and around Hawke playing an older, wizened musician who is a very popular character, but has kind of like gone into recluse mode, and he is re-releasing his most famous album, Juliet, in a raw form. So he's calling it Juliet Naked, and he meets this woman whose husband is obsessed with him, and it's this sort of odd romantic triangle between the three of them. Beautiful novel. I've read it. Very funny. And then the film is wonderfully well done. Rose Byrne is the female lead. And then I'm forgetting the name of the male actor, but really, really good. So, Gore, you might enjoy that. If you haven't seen Juliet Naked, it's very good. What is going on? Terry from the Bronze Page. Happy Saturday to you, my man. Good to see you. I hope Saturday's off to a good start. Aggressively relaxing. What's going on, Aggro? Good to see you, my man. Eric from SideQuest Comics. How you doing? I know we got a lot of friends over at C2E2, so there may be some of the usual gang absent today. What's up, Phil Ailing? Hope your Saturday's off to a good start. Kevin says he's been reading a lot, not working today, logging in books. There you go. And I was doing that this morning. I was finishing off Duke issue 5, and I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man, the new issue, I think it's 4 that dropped. So I was catching up on the last few books I hadn't had a chance to read yet from this week. So that's what I've been doing. Chet is arriving just in time. We're about to dive into some Silver Age Marvel, my man. So I think you're going to be down for this. So for those that don't know, one of my goals, and I think I've got them all listed here, for collecting in 2024 was to complete a run of comics. And I was missing 3 issues from the original Avengers run. I have this wonderful omnibus that I've yet to open, issues 1 through 30. And here they are. And I was working on issues 1 through 20. And at the start of 2024, I was just missing 3 issues. They were issue 3 and issue 15 and issue 18. And I'm done now. I've got all of them, and I thought it would be fun to kind of humbly share them with you without bragging or anything like that, and run through this amazing set of comics. And shout out those people in the community that helped me get to this place, because there's definitely a bunch of them. Do not remove them from the bag, or you're going to get the look. That's all right. I'm not planning to do that. Look, it's John's Comics with the chat. There it is. Super Russ 9000. What is going on? Clearly he needs to go to 30 now. That'll be the question at the end, is where does this stop? And I don't know that I'm the big completionist on, I've got to get the entire first volume of Avengers. I don't know that I'm that guy. And I don't know that I have the space or the interest to keep going with it, but it's worthy of a discussion, right? Worthy of a discussion. So, so I've got the omnibus here, Chet, not to worry. This is what I will use when I want to read the books. I could use the digital app, I guess, I suppose, but I've got that there, along with, this is the little heavier. This is the Justice League of America Volume 1 Omnibus, which collects issues 1 through 30 of that run, plus the 3 first appearances, 28, 29, and 30 from Brave and the Bold. So I've got both of the classic teams represented here. Whoa, there we go. I'm a little worried about Dr. Doom. Sorry, he's looking a little wobbly. Nobody wants a wobbly Doom. There he is. Now he's back to normal. So yeah, I've got a fun little background going there. All of them. Sorry, Eric's like, get them all. Got to get them all. Good Lord, that's like War and Peace. It's a big one. It's a big boy. Not a completionist guy with the complete Claremont X-Men and complete Volume 1 Marvel and complete Secret Wars in 9-8. Yeah, get out of here. I'm a hypocrite, and we all know this, and I will happily wear that badge with honor. But yeah. So let's go through this. Obviously, we start with Avengers 1. And my that makes it look like a blue label. It is a purple label. The light, I don't know. I thought I had fixed that, because when I put a blue label next to it, it should look different. Yeah, you can see it's more purple now. There. It is a purple label. There it is. This is issue number 1. It has had restoration. So it has new staples. The staples have been replaced, and they've restored pieces around there to keep the book intact. It has some minor color touch, and then they also say the cover was reinforced, which I'm not certain what that means, but it's the original book, and it's all there, nothing missing, and it is a beauty. Shout out to Steve Whiting. Steve Whiting made this all possible. My journey with Avengers started when I bought a set of books. I would say it's about 20 something books from a friend at my LCS who was getting rid of his collection. He was going into nursing school, and he was helping my stepfather, who was going through Parkinson's, and he was working at my LCS. And all of that sort of karmically came together when he decided, I'm going to purge my collection. I'm going to get rid of a lot of things. And in that was a set of early Avengers books, along with a lot of other stuff I bought from him. And so as a Christmas gift for myself, I guess, I bought it all and then gave it to different members of my family who would shop for me. And they basically bought the books and gave them to me, if that makes sense. Add to that, TJ the Slab Dragon gifting me a few issues of that early run. And then Steve Whiting dropping the hammer on me of giving me an Avengers 1 and an Avengers 2. And that really just sealed the deal, and then made me need to fill in all the gaps to the rest of the run. So that's kind of how it happened. Let's check in with Chaos. I feel like, Chris, I haven't seen you in so long, man. I hope you're doing well, Chris. It's been a hot minute, my friend. Good to see you. So let me put these on the wall here behind me. Decorate the space a little bit. Now I see why Doom was moved over. To make the room here, and then see if issue 1 will fit. There you go. How bad's the glare? Not too bad. There we go. So yeah, so Steve Whiting and TJ the Slab Dragon really got this train going early on. Hard to be achieving the goal without those two individuals. The great Steve Whiting coming through big time. Absolutely. If I see a higher grade X-Men grade issue number 1, would I trade up? I doubt it. I don't know that it matters to me. The restoration in the book is not something that bothers me, and it's a 3.5, which is a great grade for that book. I'm not a grade snob too much, and so for me, this is exactly what I wanted. Plus, the book has sentimental value, knowing that it came from Steve. You know, there's that layer as well. Gore says, "Thank you for the recommendation, John. I haven't seen the film or read the book, but you are correct. It's the kind of story I'd be interested in seeing. Yeah, I think you'd like it a lot." Let's see here. So, issues 1 and 2. Issue 2 was a gift from Steve Whiting that he mailed to me on the year that COVID dropped its hammer on us all, and I couldn't go to MegaCon. Then issue 1 he gifted me when I actually made it to MegaCon. So in that way, Steve really got this wagon train moving. But at that point, I had just been sort of tinkering with the idea of, I'll get a little run, I'll get a little set. Because of TJ and the books he had sent me and the books I had purchased, it kind of made this this nice, cute little set from like 5. I think I was going from 5 to 20. I was like, I won't worry about 1 through 4. Those are going to be impossible. I'll just do these other ones. John's Comics with Kids on occasion, on rare occasions. So let's talk about the book that finished the lot. The last one, the linchpin that slid right in, issue 3. And this is a beautiful copy of the book, absolutely gorgeous. And I owe the one and only Brian from Take the Time Collectibles for this book. If you guys aren't following Brian, you're missing out on an absolutely tremendous community member. So there are some, you can see the spine has definitely got some wear, but the colors are strong. The pieces are all together and it's held together well. Like the staples are doing their job. So this was the one I just bought recently. And it all happened because Brian had gotten in a whole collection of early Silver Age Marvel, including a lot of Avengers books. And he knew I was probably still looking for a book or two. And he hit me up saying, "Are you looking for any issues in this run?" And I said, 3 is the only one I need. And he sent me photos. He gave me an incredible price on it. And it was like, yes, I am in. I bought it. It was done. The book took a slow journey from Florida to California, but it arrived in great condition, safe and sound. And boom, dropped the hammer there. For those that don't know, these early issues have Hulk, but he's not really a team member as much early on as he is somebody that they're all kind of like chasing down to try to stop. So a lot of people argue that Hulk's first appearance as a member of the team happens later, and that these early issues, they're kind of chasing him or somebody who is trying to look like him and using a disguise. So there it is, issue 3, finishing off my 1 through 20, right? The one that I was looking for. The most expensive one that I bought is the next one. And I found a seller who was selling this and was selling Fantastic 452, the first Black Panther. And he bundled them. And it was one of the few times I just set up a payment plan and I paid a bunch up front. And then across, I think a little over a summer, I paid it off. And I got this one with a beautiful Christmas Eve, I think it is. Yeah, Christmas Eve date stamp, December 24th, 1968. 63, although the book says it's got a cover date of March 64. But it's a Christmas Eve date stamp, which I think is kind of cool. And yeah, I just love it. Absolutely fantastic. The white is still fairly white. The wrap is a little off. You can see on the spine that the wrap is a little off. But yeah, come on, man. I never thought I'd own this book. So very grateful that I got a good price and was able to bundle it with another mega book I wanted, which was Black Panther. So last year, as far as the books I bought, those were the 2 big books, Black Panther's first appearance and this one. Yeah, so absolutely great. Yeah, great date stamp. It's one of the things I truly love about it. I'm going to put him right here in the front. There we go. Lean him against the omnibus there. All right. I can move things around a little bit. I got most of the slabs out of the way. But the chat is bumping here. What's going on? X-Men 97, an MCU winner. It's so good. So good. And I'm gonna get into that here when I finish this. Absolutely. Don Gustavo is in the chat. He says, you have one of the best smiles in the community. I appreciate you, Don. I had some people make fun of my gap every once in a while, but you know, my wife seems to like it, and that's all that really matters. Avengers 4 cover is my favorite in these first 20. It's really great. There's a couple that I love with Thor, but yeah, it's hard to beat that. Hard to beat that. Chaos, you need more blue and yellow label balance. I have a very limited number of yellow labels. I've not been a big yellow label fan. I think it's mostly because when I get a signature on a book, I want to be there. I want to meet the person. I want to say something. And I've never gone out of my way to get a CGC witness for those kind of things. I just meet them. I pick a book that has sentimental value, maybe not be financial value, and then they sign that and I take it home. So I've yet to go the route of getting a witness for the whole thing. But that's just me. All right, let's talk about number 5, one of the busier covers. Got the whole team there fighting the lava men, the little lava guys. I will say I don't know that I've read this issue, but such a busy cover, so much going on. Look at all the words reminding us all the characters in the book: Thor, Iron Man, Cap. As I say, Cap and Rick Jones. There you go. Giant Man, Wasp, and featuring the Incredible Hulk. What Steve Jones is like, get off my lawn, you teenagers. Is there a date stamp on there? Yeah, that one says, it just says March. I guess it's March 3rd. Yeah, date stamps are fun. I love date stamps. I know some people don't like them, but you know, everybody's got their preference, right? Got their favorites. I'm gonna cover up Batman here. All right, number 6 with the Baron Zemo and the Masters of Evil. Guy's on a winged horse, it looks like. Yeah. And there's Zemo standing there with his little staff and that amazing fur that goes around his hood. I love it. So good. Lowest Avengers book is issue 8. He has 2 copies, a 9.2 and a 9.0. Well, maybe I'll need to buy one of those off you one day, Chet, because the lowest grade copy I would say that I have is my Avengers 8. No date stamp on this one. Looks date stamp free. And then, so that was 6. This is 7. This is probably my second favorite cover. I love this Thor cover. The hammer swirling around. The bad guys looking like they're dancing at the bottom. Let's dance. And the heroes running in, trying to figure out what's going on. I love this cover. Love the like dark blue to light blue in the background. Really, really great. This is one of my favorites. Just the whole thing. I love that Thor's like stepping on this guy. He's like standing on that guy's leg. I don't know. But yes, this is issue 7. Love this cover. Artwork is so on point. Absolutely amazing. Carlito Classico in the chat. What is going on, my friend? How you doing, man? I hope things are going well for you. Hope things are off to a good start. Your Saturday's going well. And then here is what I would consider my lowest grade book in the run. This is my issue 8. And this is one of the books I bought at that sort of Christmas purchase where I got a lot of books. It wasn't nearly as hot when this happened, like 6 years ago or whatever. A lot of spine wear on this one. I don't know how well you can see all of that, but it's some chipping there at the bottom. Definitely some discoloration. It's clearly been read a bunch. I mean, it still sits flat. It still holds together. It's still got all the pieces. So I'm not complaining. But if I were going to upgrade any single book, it would probably be this one once the price cooled down, if it ever kind of does. So there you go. Kang the Conqueror, first appearance, unless you talk about all his variants. So there you go. Issue 8. And I've only got 2 slabs left to share. So we'll see. The rest of them are all raw books. Las Cruces, happy from New Mexico. I hope happy Saturday to you and things are going well. I agree. All right. So let's do issue 9. One of my last slabs. I got this from TJ, the Slab Dragon. And that's why it's the highest grade book that I've got slabbed in this set. Absolutely gorgeous first Wonder Man appearance here. Sorry, I feel a sneeze coming on. Fighting the sneeze off. Allergies been going crazy around here these days. What is up, Paul? Sector 2815. What the deuce is in the chat? Good morning, you two. How you guys doing? Just running through my Avengers 1 through 20 now that I completed that run. Just kind of humble bragging, humble showing off here of the run and what it looks like. So yeah, this one is a thank you to TJ. He gifted me this book, and it was in such a nice grade. I had it pressed and cleaned and sent in. So I got this one slabbed. I had this one go through when I was doing my books to CGC. I was hoping for an 8.0, but this was worthy. I knew that it was definitely on the higher side, for sure. Just the colors and everything, just amazing. What is up, TK? What is going on? He says, you're going to slab the entire run. I'm not planning on slabbing any more of these. That was not on my plan list for these. So that was not my goal. I was going to kind of keep it the way it is for now. Let's see. I don't think I've got a home for that, so I'm going to set it over here. Some other people in the chat. I had COVID. I've had COVID once, and it was a little less than a year ago. But that was my first time. I've done pretty well overall, and so far in this household, it's just been me and my youngest that have had it. We've done pretty well. Love that Wonder Man book. Great grade. I missed a Stan Lee signed copy. Oof. That would be another thing I would be looking for. I would love to upgrade one of these to a Stan Lee signed copy because I don't have any Stan Lee signed books in my collection. I missed out on that opportunity, and I only want it to be on a book that he actually worked on. I don't want it to be like, oh, it's first appearance of Deadpool signed by Stan Lee. I respect wanting that, but for me, I want it to be on a book that he worked on. So ideally, one of these first 20 to get it upgraded would be the best one, right? Smoke them if you got them, John. Beckerman's in the chat. He says, I have more copies of First Wonder Man than a person ever needs. I also collect Wonder Man art. There you go. He's a great character and has had a great storied history. I remember him being on the West Coast Avengers and stuff like that. That was me as a kid. Definitely remembering that. What is up, Tyler? He says, hey, John, I've been watching from the beginning. What were your thoughts on the Deadpool Wolverine trailer? It's perfect. Like, it's hilarious. It's got great Easter eggs. I love the Ant-Man helmet or Giant Man. So yeah, I'm way in. I'm way in on that movie. I don't need to see anything more, even though I probably will watch every trailer. I don't need more. I was sold when they said they were just going to make a Deadpool 3. I didn't even need to know that Hugh Jackman was going to be in it. I was already sold, you know. JP says, I'm torn on a Stan Lee Sig. Like, you want something he actually wrote. Not sure I'll ever spend that premium. Yeah. Hello, I Felt Feet, yes, was a great Easter egg. Sorry, I missed. E said, where is it? E says, those stands get up there in cost. They really do. Yep. Got a VF copy of that first Wonder Man. Ooh. All right, so issue 10. Here we've got a great Cap cover and Immortus, right? Another Kang variant. And now they've got Cap twisted around fighting the Avengers. Oh, no. A lot of these early issues, as I recall, have a lot of like, no, we're going to make the heroes fight each other kind of stuff. Very much in the Civil War vein, right? So there's issue 10. Great colors on this one. This is also a TJ book. So this one would probably, I keep little notes on that kind of stuff. This one would probably grade out very high. Probably in that, it's got some chipping at the top. You can kind of see right there. It lost a little chunk, but probably in that 5 to 6 range somewhere. This was a very nice copy of this book. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What is on? Tony's in the chat. Comic verse. What is going on, man? I'm just running through my Avengers 1 through 20, and I'm on my last slab. I bought this. It was basically my big purchase when I went to Baltimore Comic-Con. Oh, goodness. Was that 2019? I think it was 2019. That's how long ago that was. And I saw this, and the price was really great. So this is Avengers 11 with that great Spider-Man costume that's like they were still trying to figure out what it was going to look like. Definitely an odd-looking costume for him. But a great crossover Avengers co-starring Spider-Man issue. Let's see. This one was Don Heck, right? Yeah, Don Heck was on the artwork, but Kirby was doing the cover at this point. There you go. That's my final slab, issue 11. The rest are going to be raw books. So in total, what is that? 5 slabs? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I have 5 slabbed copies in the first 20. And there you go. Gently placing that down there. And we come to probably my third favorite cover in this run. Issue 12. I just like the colors. And of course, Thor bringing down the hammer right at us. It's just great. I love all of this. The mole man in the background. The big purple word box. I love that color. It pops so well. So this, yeah, issue 12. Another stellar cover. Absolutely gorgeous cover. Beautiful. Super Russ is heading out. Bye, Super Russ. Have a great day, my friend. Congrats on all the amazing benchmarks you've been hitting. His channel has been exploding. He needs to give me better advice. So definitely need to follow him more. This one's got a lot of issues on the spine, but it's held together well. And of course, the colors on the cover are super strong. Not a lot of like issues with any of the colors on the cover or any of the issues. They're all just spine related, some chipping and some things like that. So there you go. Another beauty, issue 12. 13, Count Nefaria. Before he was battling X-Men, he was battling Avengers and apparently playing the synth organ. Look at him, just rocking out. And apparently the Avengers not appreciating his musical talents. This is issue 13. Again, a bunch of these I snagged in a sort of bundle that I purchased back Christmas 20. That was probably Christmas 2018, 2017. I bought a whole bunch, and I just, in that bundle was a handful of the early issues and including a few from the teens here. So there you go. Issue 13. Issue 14. Even an Avenger can die. Dun, dun, dun. I don't see the Wasp on a lot of these, but of course, like in those days, the female character, she had to be super tiny. And then like somewhere in the background. This one has a date stamp, January 12th. Or maybe, yeah, January 12th. I don't even know that I see the Wasp here. It's just the Giant Man, Tony, Steve, and Thor battling a ton of minions. Nefaria, I have that 9-0 Stan Sig. There you go. Stan's personal tailor. Got it to him. There you go. Great. Again, great colors on these. I feel like for the most part, these covers are really strong. They look, the colors are still really popping. So they're in very, very good condition. Here is issue 15, which I bought recently, I think, from my LCS. And it has a smudge right there, like an ink smudge. And I think I noticed it on the back of the book too, which makes me think that the books were getting stamped by the shop and then stacked when they were being sold. And you get it like smudging from the book on top of it. That's what I think it is. But it's right. It's that dark smudge spot right there. Because it's on the back of the book too. And it looks like a date stamp smudge kind of thing. But there you go. Battling all those villains. Look at all those villains over there. So cool. Yeah, issue 15. And there's the Wasps here. She's right there. She's flying out. She's first one in. My 15 has a smudge dead center on the cover. Does it? There you go. Look at us both. Twinsies. This one's got some crumpling up here in the corner. You can probably see. If I bend it right, I don't know. It looks like it got a little bit of a crunch there in the corner at some point. All right. And of course, then 16 is the great Avengers Assemble cover. I really hunted this one down and just kept an eye out for it. And I think my shop got a collection of books and had 16, and that was the big one I snagged from them. It's got a crease going right through the middle of Cap there, but the colors were sharp. The books held together well. No big issues with the spine or any of that kind of stuff. So it was like, yeah, this is the one. It's coming home. Classic moment. And a new Avengers lineup coming in. Look at all the possible people that could join the team. Who's it going to be? Right? The team reboots here at issue 16. Makes it look like she's doing bad stuff. Well, I mean, maybe. It's possible. Here we got issue 17, that new team in action. I see Quicksilver, Wanda, Hawkeye, and Cap leading the way in the search for Hulk. Will they find him? All right, issue 17. So a bunch of these I bought in that group purchase, but then obviously a few, like the next one, I just sort of snagged through Instagram, through a lot of friends who knew that I was looking for a certain number, and if they had it, would let me know. And that's where I got issue 18. Poppin', colors poppin'. Captain America, Hawkeye, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch. Dun, dun, dun. Wanda is trapped in some kind of a pneumatic tube there. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, they present nicely in the Mylar Magic, but I think they're also just, in general, most of the issues are on the spine. This one actually is incredibly sharp. Very little problems on this. The spine looks really good. So the wrap is a little off. You can see the wrap is a little off, but that's about it. This book really is a banger. Looks absolutely fantastic. And then I got just a couple more here because we're on issue 19 with The Swordsman. And this was one of the earliest ones I got in that set I purchased. I got issue 19 in that set, and same with issue 20. This one's got some rough problems all the way around. This one's lived a life. The wrap is bad. The staple's got some rust, and it's just this one's had a rough life. The Swordsman is struggling here. That amazing mustache. Fantastic. And then issue 20. And that's the end of the run there, issue 20. With Captain America sort of being thrown off of the roof of the building there. The Swordsman's pretty cool, Tony. I agree. And when I bought that set, that Christmas set, it ended with 19 and 20. But I think the earliest issue was it 5? It might have included 5 and 8 as well. I'm not sure what the earliest issues in that run were. What's up, Gary B, the casual comic guy? I'm running through my Avengers 1 through 20. I just wrapped it up. The next issue I have after that, I just wanted to share because it is one of my faves. It's that time that Dr. Doom made the Avengers dance. Look at them all. They're dancing. Look at Quicksilver's dancing. Cap's dancing. That time that Dr. Doom decided to spin some records and see what it did to the Avengers. He saw that Nefaria played the synth, and so he decided, no, I'm gonna drop a beat and see what happens to the Avengers. And they start dancing. Doom makes the Avengers dance. This is issue 25, for those that don't know. It's got a little bit of love there at the top, but for the most part, it's in good shape. You didn't know, right? You didn't know that. Everybody dances, and Doom just watches, judging. He's the judge for this dance-off. He's like, I don't know about these guys. I don't think they can dance. At least Wanda has a cape. He's like, that's good. She's got a cape. Capes are in. So I don't have a ton of issues in the 20s. The question for me becomes, do I want to keep going beyond here? Obviously, my omnibus, as JP mentioned, goes to issue 30. I was at a shop last weekend with JD and a few friends, and they had issues 22 and 29 and another one in the 20s. And I looked at the prices, and what I paid for my Avengers 3 is what they were asking for most of those, and they weren't in great shape. So my concern is those issues in the 20s can be expensive. There's not a ton of keys in there. Do I still need them? Right? Do I still need them? So that's kind of where my head is on this. Is I don't know that I feel the urge to go beyond issue 20. I've got certain issues that I've picked up because I like this character or I like this story. Most of the Avengers issues I collected were in the mid 80s. The mid 80s was when I was reading it as a kid, and that's when I fell in love with those characters. You know, when Monica Rambeau was Captain Marvel, and when she was leading the team, the crew that went to Battle World and Secret Wars and came back. You know, a lot of those issues were the ones that I read from the Avengers, and those were the ones that I still have a nice big chunk of. You know, battling the Wrecking Crew and those guys. So, do I feel the need to bridge that? No, that's a lot of books, and I don't know that I care to store all those. I might look back to getting some more of the Omnis and just kind of like extend that reading as opposed to buying the individual issues. That's a possibility as well. So far, I've just got the first omnibus. I haven't gone beyond that. Something to think about. We have our man Damien, Sleepy Reader, in the chat. Good to see you, sir. JP says, I get that. I think you need to keep an eye out, and if you find good deals, but zero need to be in a hurry. That's a great way to say it. I don't want to overpay, and I don't want to get super low grades just for the sake of getting them. I'm not completing a run at this point. 1 through 20 was like way more than I ever thought I would ever have a shot at getting. Like absolutely crazy to think that I have in my collection Avengers 1 through 20. That is mind-blowing to me. What is up, Steve White? Good to see you, sir. I hope your Saturday's going well. So beyond that, I don't feel a need there's no necessity for me, I guess. If it becomes an interest or a want, or like JP says, if you find a deal for a few of those low 20s, because I have nothing between 20 and 25, and I might have one book between 25 and say 35. I might have one book in that stretch. So it's not like I've got a ton in there already. It's just whatever happened to be in the little sets that I would buy here or there. So that's where I'm at. That's where the run is going right now. Like I mentioned, down the road somewhere at some point, it would be nice to get one of these upgraded, one of the raw copies that I would like to upgrade, maybe with a Stan Lee signature. That would be phenomenal. That would be the dream. No rush on that. I still think, despite how many books Stan Lee signed, it's kind of shocking to me the prices of those books. It's still a little too high for me. So that's where I'm at. That's my thought here for sure. Absolutely agree. Lady Fantastic, spoilt is right. And she reminds me to thank Steve Whiting, Brian from Take the Time Collectibles, TJ the Slab Dragon Watson, so many people who basically helped me get to this place. So massive community thanks going out for sure. So yeah, there you go. That was my big show off. What am I going to do with these books? I mean, obviously love them, take pictures of them, snuggle them at night, all that good stuff. I do have something coming up with my man, Magic Lasso. We're going to be chatting today, he and I, and having a conversation about some fun ways to use this run. We've been planning something for a while now, so be on the lookout. He and I are going to do some live streams in and around these early Silver Age goodies, and it should be a lot of good fun to be had for the chat, for sure. Canadian Survivalist, what is happening? Happy Saturday. Well, Boar in the chat. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Tacoma Comics Ian says, my wife told me that if I thought the kids were spoiled, I said, no, they always smell like that. Boom. Drop the hammer. Hug them, love them, keep them warm. There it is. That's all you need, right? So that there will be projects forthcoming to enjoy those books for certain. I'm running a little low on time, but I want to run through the books I read this week, some new comic book day discussions, and I'm going to start with the only non-Marvel book that I really read this week, and that was Duke. I read the final issue of Joshua Williamson's 5-issue Duke miniseries that's going to lead into the Destro miniseries that's coming after. If you're a big Energon universe guy, if you're reading the Cobra Commander books or the Transformers books that Daniel Warren Johnson's doing, there's a lot of good indie stuff in this world going on right now. And I've had mixed love for these books. I will say Duke is the most simplistic to enjoy. It's a straightforward espionage setup for G.I. Joe. In a universe where G.I. Joe doesn't exist yet, Cobra really doesn't exist like we remember it from the cartoons. This is a good setup, and there's some good action. I do think the best issues were at the beginning, and that it got a little bit bland towards the end. I did not love issue 5, so it just felt kind of bland to me. Cobra Commander, on the other hand, has been a little more exciting, and I do think there's some really great stuff happening in the last couple of issues of Cobra Commander where it is really intense, really graphic, and really fun, really edgy fun for sure. There it is. Eric saying the same thing. There's an issue, and I think it's 3, where they torture Cobra Commander. The whole issue is basically like a torture scene. That's probably the best Energon universe book that I've read yet, of all the ones, of all the Transformers, Duke, Commander, whatever. Like, that one issue was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Don Gustavo says, well-respected brand. Oh, let's not go too far. Let's not go too far. But clearly you got the money that I paid you for that. That's good. Thank you for that. So yeah, if you're enjoying the Energon universe, but you're only dabbling in the Transformer stuff, maybe you want to give the G.I. Joe Cobra Commander stuff a shot. I know Destro is coming, and I can't remember the writer on that, but it's not Joshua Williamson. I think Williamson was just doing these 2 miniseries. I don't know if he moves on to something else after this. We've also got Daniel Warren Johnson still writing, but he's no longer drawing the Transformers book. And for me, the art has been pretty consistent. Like, I didn't feel like it was this big change to a new artist. Daniel Warren Johnson's style is still very much intact in this new artist. And that book for me has gotten better as it's gone on. I didn't love issues 1 and 2 like most people did, but I really enjoyed issue 5, which I think was the last one that Daniel Warren Johnson did. I thought that was much stronger. So yeah, little casual thoughts on some of those books. And let's jump over to Ultimate Spider-Man. And I'm gonna I know that this is a topic of drama between me and Jig's Kingdom, and me and me and Cliff a little too. Those guys love this Ultimate Spider-Man run. They are way into this, and I get it, and I don't want to yuck somebody's yum, but I am going to drop an "I told you so" comment right here, right now. And when I read issues 1, 2, and 3, I was like, this book is really mediocre, and if it wasn't drawn by Marco Cicchetto, it would suck, is my comment. I like Jonathan Hickman as a writer. This is not my favorite thing that he's ever done. It feels very bland by Hickman standards for me. And Marco Cicchetto's art elevated it. It really made it a passing level book. Like, it was not a fail, it was a pass, right? Like, it was worthy. It got a passing grade. This issue 4, guess what happened? Marco Cicchetto not drawing the book. They took Marco Cicchetto off, or he couldn't keep up with the pace, or he's moved on to something else, or whatever. They had a guest artist, and it's not good. It's so much worse. I challenge anyone to read issue 4 and say that it's anything but the worst issue that this whole run has had up to now. Now, admittedly, it's not an action-packed issue. It's almost completely a dinner party with Peter Parker and MJ, and they're with Harry Osborn and a secret guest who I won't ruin coming for dinner, the 4 of them. And it's almost exclusively at the restaurant, whether it's at the table or in the bathrooms or out front coming in or going out. it's almost exclusively there. There's a little jump away to the babysitters watching MJ's and Peter's kids, but that's it. So my frustration is like, it proves my point that Hickman is not writing his best writing. It's kind of mediocre. And the second you rob us of what Lady Fantastic says is so good, Chichetto, the book suffers massively. And I think the pacing is weird. The faces are horrible. It's really just poorly drawn. And issue 4 just really suffers. It suffers because of how good Chichetto had set the groundwork, and now we're dealing with this. I've been a little negative-ish from the beginning, and I got into some great debates with Cliff, who will debate everything endlessly, and with Jig's Kingdom, because it's Jig's is already calling it the book of the year. He's already decided this is the best comic book of the year. Admittedly, I've already decided the best book of the year, and it's Traveling to Mars, but that's different. So I just felt from the jump that Ultimate Spider-Man had a really weak concept and was only decent because of Chichetto, that the writing was just a roller coaster here. So for me, it didn't hook me. And emotionally, I was disconnected from it. And way too much time focused on J. Jonah Jameson and Ben Parker, as like that first issue especially was like, it felt like a Ben Parker comic and not a Peter Parker comic. So those are my issues with it. This is a far superior comic book. Everybody who's telling me Ultimate Spider-Man is great and is not reading Avengers Twilight is just wrong. This is the best book at Marvel right now. This is the best book at Marvel. It is phenomenal, and it is fantastic, and it's a great Elseworld book. So yes to this. Yes to this. Versus Ultimate Spider-Man, I think, is just really rocky. It's been really bumpy. I actually prefer Ultimate Black Panther to that. Ultimate Black Panther, I think, is just a more interesting universe, and the art is a little more consistent, and it's got Storm. So check. Yeah, I guess that's it on Ultimate Spider-Man. I like the idea of an entire issue set in a restaurant and not focusing on the action and focusing on the character dynamics, but I just don't think the characters are getting nailed, and the artwork is so flat and the faces are so poorly drawn. It just didn't work. Knowing John and I usually align in our tastes has made me happy with my decision to wait to read it later. Well, there you go. Know nothing about the Ultimate Universe. Too many comics to know it all. The basic concept for anyone who wants to know is that Reed Richards' character, the Maker, from the original Ultimate Universe, has decided to capitalize on all that he knows by by manipulating one corner of the Marvel multiverse so that there are no superheroes, and he robbed them of all their powers. But now, through some mysterious acts of fate, little by little, superheroes are starting to appear. They're starting to get powers. And the question becomes, like, what's happening to Reed Richards, the Maker's universe, right? Zdarsky is on Twilight. He is killing it. Yep, he is killing it. He is doing a great job. I miss seeing characters getting nailed. Correct. So good. Let's do the last couple of X-Men books that I got for you guys this week. And this is the order you need to read them if you're reading these books. Obviously, read Rise of Powers of X Part 4 first, which is almost done. We got basically at June. We got a book in May and a book in June, and this and the Krakoa era. The door slams, and we're moving on. This continues the Professor Xavier's a jerk, main thought of the X universe. Xavier really blowing it, and I did not love the issue, but I get what they're trying to set up, and I know they're trying to. Endings are hard, especially for continuity stories that are going to go on. So they're trying to finish and put a punctuation mark on the end of this era, but at the same time set up whatever is going to happen after. So it's a really tricky thing to do. I'm glad that talented people like Kieran Gillen are working on it. And it brings us to the other book I read, X-Men Forever, which is the better book, in my opinion. A lot of Phoenix related stuff here. And ultimately, the two books tie together and they take place concurrently. But I think the bigger story beats happen in Rise of the Powers of X. And you would spoil some of the stuff, I think, if you read X-Men Forever first. However, I do think the story is executed better in X-Men Forever, just because Kieran Gillen has been killing that. He's been the most consistent writer in this era. He's just great. There you go. So those are the X books setting up the ending. Couple of, we got May and June, and that's it. It ends in June. So the last few X books of this era, and then we launch into all the new titles that are coming. Let's see here. Do we need the series to tell us he's a jerk? No, they just keep reminding us. I like how the X-Men animated series changes Cyclops, makes him more classic. A lot of people are very happy with that, right? Lady F says, he is much cooler in the new cartoon than he's ever been in comics. This is a fact. I think they've actually elevated it even more to a level of ridiculousness. Like, I do think that falling out of the sky, blasting the ground, stop your fall, hero landing thing was ridiculous. But I get it's cool. It's comic book cool. But that was the whole point of X-Men issue 94 it's 94, where he's fallen from the sky and needs to be rescued. Like, he can't do that. It's an impossible idea. But I don't know. Maybe it happened at some point later on after Claremont. That fall to the ground was ridiculous to me. But let's talk a little bit about it. Yeah, X-Men 97 is fantastic. And the new episode 7 that dropped is probably my second favorite episode after 5. 5 being the big Genosha exciting story. And then 7 is, for me, the emotional reaction to that. And it was just great. It was just great. It's funny because I never expected the non-Storm episodes to be my favorites, but they definitely were, no question. They're doing a great job of reminding us that this is an ensemble, that this is a universe full of interesting characters, that it's not a single focus. It's not the Wolverine show or the Cyclops show, that it's a group of characters. And that's what makes this, I think, the strongest X-related media ever created. I think it's just far superior to the films and anything else that's come before it. Everything but the comics, this rises up to take the place of. So yeah, absolutely great. I'm looking forward to the 3-part finale. I'm not a big Bastion fan. Spoiler alert, he's kind of seems to be the villain behind all of this. He's a Nimrod adjacent villain. And some very interesting stuff in store for that 3-part finale, 3-episode finale. Read your comics. Daryl's in the chat. What is happening, sir? Ace of Base, right? They had some Ace of Base. Very entertaining. Fall of X and Rise of X, they still have each one of them has an issue 5 coming. So I'm assuming there'll be a 10-issue hardcover from Marvel at some point that collects the 5 issues of Fall and the 5 issues of Rise together in one. I'm assuming that's going to happen. Tony says, X-Men 97 is absolute perfection. Episode 5 is clearly the best. Looking forward to the 3-part finale. There you go. Agree. Opened up my eyes. There you go. That's because they failed to tell life death in a good way. Worst part of the show is wasting that storyline. I sometimes think that there are so many books that the overall story gets watered down when it's stretched out through so many issues, kind of hard to read issue to issue. Fair. That's a fair point. And I think we're in an era where the struggle to balance long form storytelling and short form storytelling, right? The comic books have that challenge, which I think is why you're getting more miniseries and maxi series, because people can just tell one story and they don't have to worry about the bigger ramifications and the editors deciding that, oh, you can't do that because we're doing an event this summer and whatever, blah, 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 blah. I think you have very few writers that can balance telling something in the short term that also has long-term value. And that is a tricky kind of storytelling. Is this a single issue that's worthy, or does it have to be read in a trade because the short form sucks, but the long form is good, right? That's a balancing act. Reverend Bleeker in the chat. Good to see you, sir. He is your Sunday morning man. If you're not following him, you're missing out on some great Sunday morning chats. Question says, how is Storm going to react when she finds out Gambit is dead? I think she's going to have a lot of anger and emotions, kind of like Rogue had, but it's going to be curious to see how it all goes together. So something interesting to think about. That mashed up Life, Death 1, 2, and Fall of the Mutants into 2 episodes. Yeah, they did pack a lot of stuff in there. I was hoping E for Extinction would be either the Marauders Massacre or Extinction Agenda. It feels more Extinction Agenda to me. With Genosha in rubble and this organization coming in, you could definitely do an Extinction Agenda storyline. I'd be curious to see how it goes, because they would obviously be changing it around a little bit to have your villain be Bastion instead. Could be very entertaining, though. I've got to get my Saturday going. I got to put all my books away and redecorate and get some fun things going. But I am going to be across YouTube for the next few days. Sunday night is, of course, Dungeons and Dragons on the White Whale Comics YouTube channel. On Tuesday night, I'm hosting Omni X-Men. We're reading issue 191. And then Wednesday night, I think I'm hosting the New Comic Book Day book club with my man White Whale Comics. And we're looking back at basically the Geiger-verse books that dropped this month. So we're reflecting on March. April. Oh God, it's April. We're reflecting on April, the best books of April, and we're looking at all those Geiger books that came out, Redcoat, Rook, and Geiger that came out, because there was a lot of number ones, and going to give you our thoughts on those things. That's going to be the idea, right? What is up, Don Gustavo, with the super sticker? And I'm going to drop a video clip for him. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And we're going to have a little me party for you.
Me party. A party for myself. I'm having a me party, and I need nobody else.
Just enjoy that. Enjoy that me party. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I really hope we get a version of Cameron Hodge, and maybe it's a Bastion-esque Cameron Hodge. He's a great villain. Great villain. So, for those of you that are watching, those are the shows I've got planned through the next week. And then next Saturday, as a reminder, like I did at the beginning of the show, I will be on Cliff's channel next Saturday. He is doing his first early Saturday morning show, Breakfast with Brian. If you guys love Brian LCS like we all do, he is moving to Sundays. And starting next weekend, that's where his show will be, which means I'm the only Saturday morning show for right now. But next weekend, Cliff is going to kick off his Saturday morning show. And I will be joining that wild man, yes. And he and I will be doing a show more for East Coasters or early rising West Coasters. And then I'll probably have time for my show right after that, so that you can get a lot of John in the morning. So that'll be coming up next Saturday. But that is all, folks. That is it. That is the whole kit and caboodle. I appreciate everybody coming by and watching me ramble through new comics and some fun Silver Age ones as well. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you in the chats.